First cast of the day, and chatting to the people around me, apparently there's no tide, so I'm going to give it a bit of a thump. Out there somewhere. Just an overhead thump, don't want to get too technical. We are fishing on Milford Shingle Bank, which I'm going to apologise for because I've been away in Spain for a week and I've had no content out, so sorry about that. I just haven't been fishing in the UK, which is very sad. And I thought I'm going to come back and I'm going to change seasons. We're going to go straight back into something different. I don't know, maybe a bit more ray fishing, maybe a bit more night fishing and that sort of thing. And here I am, my first session back in the UK. What am I doing? Exactly the same as the last time I went out. On Milford Shingle Bank, fishing for bream. Come on though, I mean, it's October and look at the weather. It's absolutely glorious. We've got some flat, calm, gin clear seas. There is a bit of sunshine behind all these clouds somewhere, but it's glorious. So this time of year, when the weather's like this and the conditions like this, I'm making the most of them. I'm going to see if I can winkle out a bream or two before the winter storms come and put it all to bed. A little bit of tide out there, a little bit of pullover, that's nice. I'm actually going to get 2 rods out today. I don't know if it's going to be as fast and frenetic and crazy as some of the recent sessions I've had down there. So I might try a couple of things, I might try a couple of distances. I'd also like to try, I'm going to knock up a couple of rigs in a minute. I'm going to try some slightly bigger baits, some slightly bigger hooks. A bit of sand in my joint. And see if I can winkle out a bigger bream. Now this time of year is an excellent time of year for the big fish. It really is. So if you're ever going to get a 2-pounder off the shore, now is the time. I'm going to do my normal bream rig on this one with my usual little pop-up, sort of size 2 wormers and that sort of thing, exactly as I normally fish. And then I'm going to put slightly larger baits and slightly larger hook on the other one, just to see, is there any difference? Is there such a thing as bigger bait, bigger fish? Is that a thing, or is that a fallacy? Was that a bite first cast? Or was that just tripping around in the tide? Right, let's knock up a rig for this. I'm going to up my snood ever so slightly. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to reel in that fish. Oh, oh, oh. Hello. Fish are still here then, that's good. What have we got? What have we, I'll tell you what we haven't got. Loads of weed, which is wonderful. The worst things about fishing Milford is the weed, but so far it's been really good. What have we got? What have we got in here? Have we got a bream? Do we have a bream? We have a bream, ladies and gentlemen. The bream are here, which is grand news. Look at that. First cast, straight on the fish. And it's a beauty. Just that sort of usual stamp of fish that we've been experiencing this year. Lovely thing. I mean, if I'm being generous, I might give it a pound out. The shark, by the way. Sit still. Come on, Baz. There we go. First fish of the day, first cast. Hadn't even got my second rod out. That's a nice little start to the session, isn't it? Oh, and it's just pooed all over me. Right, I'm going to put that one back. Ah, the joys of bream fishing. I have blood where it spiked me and poo where it pooed on me. Okay, well we found the fish straight away, which is good. Let's get that rig rebaited and then I'll attempt to tie another rig. That was on the usual rag-tipped mackerel. In a minute, I'm going to fillet that mackerel and put some salt on it. I've got some salt with me. One of the very commonly asked questions I get asked is about how I salt my mackerel, so I should do that in a second. Whack it out up tide a little bit, let it come down. Right, I'm going to tie myself a quick rig, get my second rod out. No, I won't. I'll tell you what, let's do the mackerel first, shall we? Let's stick to the plan. Chuck this rig body down here. Get one very important ingredient, which is the cheapest, nastiest table salt you can buy. First off, let's fillet off this mackerel. So, with your scissors, still a bit frozen, but there we go. all the way down one side, all the way down the other side, across the back, and then just cut it off the spine. Nice and simple. There we have a nice fillet of mackerel. And now what I would normally do is get ourselves a bit of newspaper. Normally do this sort of thing at home before I go fishing, but I wanted to kind of do it out to show you guys. I'm going to sprinkle a little tiny bit of salt on the newspaper and lay it skin side down. Now, I am open for people suggesting you don't need to do that, because I don't know how much of the salt sort of absorbs into the skin and stuff. But the main thing is, once I've got it skin side down on my bit of paper, let me pick this up. I'm going to liberally sprinkle some of this salt just straight onto the flesh. And that's it. That is a salted bit of mackerel fillet. Now what will happen there is that salt will draw the moisture out of the flesh, and it's just going to toughen everything up. It'll stop it being all mushy and mushy. Now, the more salt you put on, the tougher it'll be. On the flip side of that, I sometimes think, I don't want to draw all of the moisture. I don't want to completely dehydrate this thing, because I want some scent and juices still to be coming out of it. So I normally put like a sort of a light sprinkling on. I've just put a light sprinkling on, and I'm just going to fish with this throughout the day, and it's just going to carry on sort of drying out really. But if you were freezing it down, what I'd normally do is put a light sprinkling of salt on, leave it on the newspaper for about an hour, and then pack it and freeze it, and that's that. But just experiment. The smaller the bit of mackerel you're cutting it into, the more salt I tend to use, because the smaller the bit you're trying to cut into, the tougher you need it to be. If it's mushy mackerel, it's really hard to do really delicate, neat bits of presentation. Equally, if you're going to be using large chunks, then you can probably get away with a little less salt. But 100% recommend salting your mackerel. It makes a massive difference. Right, let's carry on making that trace. So I've got my usual 2 up, 1 down, 3 foot snoods. I'm going to up the snood slightly, so I'm going to go with a number 5 Seaguar, which is a 0.37. Which could be controversial because it is really clear water, but there's virtually no sunshine. So we shall see how that goes. If I'm getting bites on the lighter gear and not on the heavier, I can always change and go slightly lighter on the snood later. So let's just attach my snoods. Now, I am going to use a pop-up. I'm going to go with these little pink pop-ups. We could argue, because I'm going to go larger on the bait, larger on the hook, heavier on the line, etc. The pop-ups are going to do less work. But I think they're still going to do something. They're still going to add a little bit of light movement. It is very clear water, so there's obviously a lot of visual attraction as well with these little pink beads. So I'm still happy to use pop-ups in this situation. Hook-wise, now this is interesting. I have actually gone with a size 2 F314, Gamakatsu F314. And I can hear you all screaming at me, but Thomas, you usually use a size 2 hook. Well, this is one of my bugbears in the fishing world. A size 2 Gamakatsu F314 is far bigger than a size 2 Sasami wormer. So in this instance, I am using a larger hook. It just happens to have the same number attached to it. I wish, like my bugbear with lines and poundage and all that rubbish, I wish hooks was sold by gauge. If that was a, I don't know what that is, a 12mm gauge, then what am I trying to say? If every pack of hooks, rather than having just a made-up number attached to it, had a size, a physical size, a measurement to it, we'd know where we are. Because a 12mm gauge in one pattern is going to be a 12mm gauge in another pattern, is going to be a 12mm gauge in another pattern. So it doesn't matter. Whereas a size 2, you could pick 4 different brands, 4 different patterns of hook, and they can be completely different sizes. So it doesn't really help us, does it? You know, if I say, oh, I'm using a size 2 hook, you guys might jump out and buy the wrong size 2 hook and be, you know, have a completely different size hook. Why aren't hooks sold by the gauge? By the gape, sorry, not the gauge, the gape. Have I been saying gauge? Not the gauge of the wire. Although I do wish that information was on there as well. But no, they should have the gape in millimeters, not a random number thrown at it. Enough of my waffle. I'm using a size 2 Gamakatsu F314. Am I using that because I can't catch a large bream on the size 2 wormer? Absolutely not. I'm using that because I just want to use a larger bait. So your hook choice should always be determined by the size of the bait you're using. We don't necessarily match hooks to the fish. We match bait to the fish and then hook to the bait. Right, there we go. That is one 3-hook flapper ready for bream. I'm actually going to stick, we're just about to hit the flood, so although it's a tiny tide, there might be a strong bit of tide out there. I'm going to stick a 6-ounce grip head on that. Right, I'm going to stick with my rag and mackerel baits, mainly because that's all I have. That's a really stupid comment, sorry. Ragworm I'm going to keep to basically the same size. I'm not really interested in whacking a huge worm out there. I don't like long baits, I don't like really long baits for bream. They are sort of pecky feeders. That's part of the reason why I've gone with the F314, interestingly. Because again, they're not a really long shanked hook. They're sort of a medium-y sort of shank hook. And then I'm just going to put a larger cube, a big old chunk of mackerel on. There we go, so I'm going to put something like that on there. Normally I'd get at least 3 baits out of that. Oh, is that fish? Yes, whee! Oh my word. The fish are feeding, guys. I think I walked up just at the right moment. I got quite lucky here, so. I was chatting to my mate Jed next to me there, and he said, nothing so far. I said, is there any tide? He said, absolutely none. And I've just got here just as the tide started, so. A lot of you at home thinking, well, that's clever. That's really clever, Tom, but no, it's completely fluke. I was supposed to be here earlier. I just didn't get myself motivated early enough this morning. Oh, I mean, sorry, yes, I deliberately did this. I knew exactly the moment the fish were going to start feeding. Ooh, he's scrapping. Scrapping a bit, this one. Darting about in the tide. Oh, it's a... What? I've hooked a garfish, okay. We're just going to ignore this, pretend this hasn't happened. I've hooked a garfish on the way in, so I've got a great big bream on one hook, and a garfish on the other hook. The garfish I snagged on the way in. I'm not going to claim skill on that one. First of all, let's have a look at the bream, because that is a beauty. Absolute beauty. There are some wonderful fish around this year. Let me get my disgorger. There we go. Bream number 2 for the day. A beauty. That's dinner size, isn't it? That's a lovely fish. We'll have that one, I'll put that in my bucket. And then purely by fluke, on the way in, a garfish. Have I caught a garfish on camera yet? Even if it was by luck? I don't think I have. Now, that's a cracker of a gar as well, look at that! These are the coolest things in the world. If you've never caught a gar, go and catch yourself one, because they're amazing. And they smell like absolute... They're actually really, really, really good eating. But better than that, they're amazing bait. So I'm thinking my salted mackerel I've just done up is probably going to get not misused, sorry, it's not going to get used, because this little fella here is going to be bait. Bream love these things. There we go, one garfish. I think possibly a new species for the channel. Aren't they amazing? Look at them. How many fish do you get like that? I was halfway through baiting out that rig, so I'm going to quickly finish that one, that new rig I've just tied. Get this one back out. Really big chunks of mackerel on that. And then I shall get my other rod out. Well, I might not need to. There's enough fish around for me not to need to. Those garfish, ugh, my word, they stink. And I'm covered in fluorescent green scales. If you cook them, their bones go fluorescent green, like bright radioactive green. They're quite impressive things, if you're into radioactive fish. Right, on this rig that I've just caught that bream and gar double shot on, that was quite funny, I was reeling it in. And I suddenly went, oh, it's fighting really hard, but clearly that was the point where the garfish jumped on, decided to come along for the ride. I'll get this one baited up and get the other rod out, and we'll see. We'll monitor the situation. If the tide picks up a little bit too much, or the fishing continues to be good, I'll go back down to 1 rod. Well, I don't think I'm going to do 2 rods, guys. I think we might settle with the 1. I haven't got that one baited up. Well, I've got worms on it, I haven't got any fish on it. I was going to put a bit of the garfish on, but... So much of the thrill of fishing for me is the bite. I don't know about you guys, how do you guys feel about that? Is that a silly thing to say? Obviously, you know, reeling in a fish is okay, but let's be honest, most of the things we catch on beach rods, they don't fight brilliantly. Holding a fish is lovely and seeing the fish is lovely, but the bite, that's the pinnacle of excitement for me, because before the bite, up until the second before the bite, the expectation, you've got the expectation, the longing, the waiting, the wishing that rod tip moves, and then it goes dong dong dong, you're like, yes! That's what I think anyway. I know, I get excited, sorry. I'm an excitable kind of guy. But this is on the larger bait, this is on the larger baits and the larger hooks. So will be interesting. That's quite clearly not a larger fish. It's still going. Mackerel's really firming up already. Doesn't take long. What do you think? Should I bring it in or should I wait? Should I see if I can get a double or triple? Or I might pick up a bonus garfish on the way in again. Yeah, still on there. It's still on there. I just don't think it's very big. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? We've got a bream. Just the one bream. Just the one bream. And it's exactly the same size as the last one. As far as experiments go, we haven't learnt anything, but you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a beautiful fish again. It really is. Just lovely. Unfortunately the sun's not out, so they're not going to look as incredible as always, but tell me those things aren't amazing. Look at them. Summer perfection. In October, catching bream in gin clear flat calm seas. It makes me a happy camper. I could be out catching straps and dogs. That one's going to go back. Going to get a little bit of this garfish prepped for my next cast. This is the toughest fish you'll have ever used for bait. There's no need to freeze these things down. They've got all the oil and blood. I mean, look at all this blood coming out of that. All the oil and blood of a mackerel, but with the added advantage of it being tough as leather. There we go. Might coincide with a little bit of sunshine, but see the colour of those bones? Sort of coming through green where I've cut that. Weird. And the scales, when they come off as well, they're green. It's been a whole 15 minutes without a bite. So I'm going to chuck my other rod out. I'm going to chuck it much closer. I mean, I brought it with me, I might as well use it, right? That didn't go as close as I was anticipating. I don't know why I did that, actually. There we go. Right. I'm going to tie myself up another rig after that chaotic start. Why don't I, like more normal people, sensible people, actually tie rigs before I start fishing? That would be so sensible. But no, not me. I like to make myself hard. I like to make myself hard. I didn't just say that on camera, obviously. I like to make life hard for myself. Probably should cut that bit out. Oh, that tide is hoofing out there now. We are on full flood, which probably means it was a really stupid idea to go to 2 rods. I really should have cast that one on the right much closer. I don't know why I didn't do that. That was the plan, and I've just let myself down there. Very disappointing, Thomas. Right, what should I do on this rig? I've got a ray flapper. I've got a ray flapper here. Size 1 Camazam B950U and a bit of 050 line. I would not class that as daylight bream fishing snood. Should I try it or should I be sensible and chop it off? I'll be sensible, I'll chop it off. I'm just being lazy. This is how phenomenally disorganised I am. I'm just chopping up random rigs that I found in my box to make some bream rigs. A lot of thought and effort's gone into this video, clearly. I wonder if I hit it just right. I've always said this down here, haven't I? Just on the turn of the tide, just on the change of the tide, the fish have a feed. It'll be interesting now if we have a strong bit of pull for an hour or so, whether I actually get any more fish. Do you think, as anglers, we pay too much attention to the calendar, the months, and not enough attention to the water temperature and things like that? Because I do. I think we all make the mistake of thinking, oh, it's October now, let's dust off all our winter gear. When actually that water is as warm as it's been all year. I think we could all enjoy a little bit more fishing if we fish to the conditions a little bit more rather than the calendar. Fish don't know it's October. October doesn't exist to them. Right, second rig created. Let's get some bait on this. I'm going to do ragworm tipped with garfish. Oh. Right, so we have a strong right to left tide. So I'm going to cast up to the right, up to about 1 o'clock. And I'm going to let out a bit of slack line to do a bit of sort of up-tiding, basically. And hopefully that should hold quite well in the tide. Well, I said I was going to cast to 1 o'clock, but I cast to 12:57 instead, so that's disappointing. Let the big bow of line catch up in the tide. Like I said last time, don't cast out and put your bail arm over straight away and catch up with the slack. All that's going to happen is you're going to drag your rig towards you and it's going to tighten up and roll down tide. Chuck it out, let the slack be taken down tide, a little bit of a bow out. You should, in theory, because there's no weed around, be able to fish quite comfortably. Here we go, it's just catching up with it now. Just going to start to pull that tip round. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. We watch that tip. The left-hand one, ignore the right-hand one. It should, over the next few seconds or so, just start to pull round and tighten up as the tide's picking up my bow of line. Because I've got a nice bow, in theory, the tide is pulling straight on the grip blade, so the grips should be settling in and I should stay relatively straight out there. 20 minutes soak this one's had, guys. Mille pois. Sun's come out, which is nice. Although, probably for about 3 seconds, there's a big black cloud up there. But I might bring it in, chuck it back out, get some fresh bait out, keep working hard. Definitely, those fish definitely had a feed on just on the change of tide. It's flooded a fair bit now. No fishies. Tiny fleck of weed, but that's all. It really has gone quiet on the Western Front. It's nothing going on at all out there at the moment. And I haven't seen anybody up and down the beach catching. One of our club members, Steve Smith, just to my left there, just had a nice chat with him. He had a few fish early, but said, yeah, the last couple of hours it's gone dead. So I think I was lucky to get those 3 fish quite early on in my sesh. I'm going to change. I keep making changes and things, so I'm going to go back to my more traditional bream rig with the slightly lighter line, slightly smaller hooks and that sort of thing, just to see if that encourages a bite. You never know. I always say the devil is in the detail. I'd rather be trying things rather than just sat there getting bored, waiting for a motionless tip to move. Is that a bite? Is that a lesser spotted bite? Or is it a bouncing down in the tide? What do you think, guys? I think it's a bouncing down in the tide. I did go out with a 150, not a 170 on that one. Where am I? Oh my God, I'm miles down there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I need to bring that in. I'm in danger of snagging the guy to my left and he's 100 yards down the beach. Guy up there's just had a bream by the looks of it. They might be coming back on the feed. The guy in the yellow t-shirt in the distance, I don't know if you can see him. Lovely guy called Tom Short. Hell of a name. Anybody called Tom must be a good angler, right? Oh no, I have got a fish. I got a fish! I got a fish! It was a fish that bumped me out. Hooray! Not a particularly big one, but it's a fish nonetheless. There we go. Bream number 4 for the search. A humble one. Hopefully they're going to come back on the feed now. That is interesting actually, isn't it? Who remembers what I did on that cast? That was my first cast back out there with the lighter line, smaller hook tactic. Could be purely coincidental. Could be a thing. Who knows? I'm going to pack this rod away, I think. There's nothing happening on the inside, and there's a bit too much tide to put both rods out, so I'm quite happy to fish with the one rod. I've lost my fishing buddy. Jed has gone home. Oh, it's actually getting on a bit. It is 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, and after a lightning start, it's just kind of been a bit of a slow plod today. I have still thoroughly enjoyed myself. You can't knock being out in the fresh air on days like today, especially when it's October. Oh, was that a bite? Did I miss something? Or was it just pulling around in the tide? I said this last time, didn't I? I said, it's just bouncing down in the tide, and then there was a fish on the end. Not convinced, but like I said, I did say that last time. I've completely cooked my worms. I've just left them out in the sun all day. What an amateur. You know what, there might be a little fish on there actually. It has gone way down, which could indicate that a fish has picked it up, but I'm sure he just had a bit of a, certainly not one of those big bream, but let's get it in anyway. Seeing as I've baited up my other rig. Everyone's packing up. Tom and Simon to my right are packing up as well. Jed's already gone. Oh, I've got a fish on. Ha! They're all packing up too soon. Oh, there we go. So there was a little fishy. Number 5 for the day. Not a bad one either. There we go. Number 5, October breaming. Can't beat it, can you? That one's going back there. Sizable fish, but I've got 2 nice ones in the bucket. No point in taking more than you need. What a stunner. What do you reckon then, guys? Do you reckon it's the tide, just the fact that the fish have come back on the feed? Or do you reckon it's because I switched back to lighter snoods and lighter tactics? I guess the only way of finding out really would have been to have left both rods out there. One with the heavier tactics, one with the lighter tactics. The problem with that, with this tide going on, it just ended up getting tangled and made a mess of things. I'm really onto the dregs of bait now. I'm probably approaching my last cast or 2, I'd have thought. Which is a shame, I don't really want to go home. I was just about to pick that up to reel it in, and it moved. It's been out there nearly 20 minutes. I just thought, bring it in, change of bait, last cast just about to go out, and a little bit of movement. Oh, could be fishy fishies. So what happens here? So earlier on, when there wasn't the massive bow and line and the strong tide, you get the classic bang, bang, real hard pull down bream bites. But because I've got a real big belly of line out, sort of up-tiding a little bit, my lead's there, my line's over there. What happens is a fish will pick up the bait, move the lead sort of down tide a little bit. So what actually happens is you get the sort of the drop back. rather than the sort of real pull downs. It could, of course, be just the tide pulling the lead down, bounce the lead down and you get the drop back, but it could well be the rig moving down tide with the belly of line and causing that drop back bite. So two very different styles of bite we've seen today. Obviously I'll reel it in now, there won't be a fish on and I'll be talking gibberish, but you know, it's nice to pretend I know what I'm talking about every now and again. Have we got a fishy fish? Come on, be a fish. Don't embarrass me. Yes. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's a gurnard. Oh, that's okay, I'll happily have a gurnard. I'll accept a gurnard. I saw a brown thing and I thought it was a dog, but there we go. We'll add a brown, no, we won't add a brown thing. We'll add a gurnard to the species list for the day. A nice little tub. Croaking away. Look at that. Oh, can you hear him? Can you hear that? Croaking away. Hopefully you heard that. Everyone up and down the beach now thinks I was kissing my gurnard. But look at that, aren't they the most stunning things? Just the most iridescent blues around the fins. The eye is blue. That is one of the most beautiful fish we have. Gorgeous. They're, this part of their fins, they've lost all the membrane in between the fin rays there. And they use those for actually walking along the bottom. It's really cool. There are little videos on YouTube, it's well worth watching that. But there we go, that is a beautiful, beautiful tub gurnard. Last cast going out. 3 and 3, but they've been quite long soaks, quite long casts. Mustn't complain, it's been an amazing day. Still can't believe it's October. Right, that's the last cast out there. Let's pack this rig away, have a little clean down. Look at the state of my worms. This is a terrible advert of how to look after bait in the sun. Hey, look, I'm new to this fishing malarkey, I don't know nothing. It's like twiglets, I've got a tray full of twiglets, beautiful. What did I end up with? 5 bream, a gar and a gurnard. In the glorious sunshine on an October's day. No complaints from me, ladies and gentlemen. I got a little bit, not downhearted, that's the wrong word. A little bit disheartened, that's the same word, just a different way of saying it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, the first 3 casts, I was like, this is going to be epic. This is going to be one of those red letter sessions. And then it went quieter, and I was a little bit like, oh, that's disappointing. But it's not been disappointing, it really hasn't been disappointing in the slightest bit. It just slowed down, that's all. And actually it's been really nice to slow down after running around hectic match fishing, things like that recently, so it's been lovely just to slow down, have a sit down, sit in my bum for 15 minutes in between fish, and just relax. Really enjoy today. Right, fingers crossed, we'll have one on the last cast as well. Right, that's it. That is the end of my session. And I don't think I've got a fish on here. Before I reel it in, I'd just like to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel this year. I started the year off on I think something like 6,000 subs. And I said back at the beginning of the year, I want to hit 10,000, I want to aim high and go big. And we're on 9,100 and something, so it's amazing. But we need another 900 subs, don't we? So if you're watching this and you're a regular and you enjoy it, do me a favour, hit the old sub button. It doesn't cost you anything. You can switch off the notifications if you like, but I think it's just vanity really. I just want to get to 10,000, but there we go. No, I would love, yeah. If you don't mind, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. It doesn't cost anything. And it means a lot to me. Right. Let's get this in. Let's see what we got on the last cast. I really don't want to go home. It is like a summer's day. That sun is incredible now. Nothing on the last cast. A blank cast. Interestingly, that was back on my thicker snoods, bigger hooks again. 3 casts on a row on the lighter stuff, 3 fish. Switch to the heavier line again, no fish. That could be a thing, guys. What do you think? Stick a little comment down. Am I reading too much into that, or is there something in there? I think there's something in there. I've always been a big believer in the finer details. That's why I kind of chop and change. That's why I look at the diameters of my line and make sure they're correct, and I will go up and down accordingly. But there we go. That is the end of that. I've really enjoyed today. It's been amazing. Wasn't quite the day I thought it was going to be when I started off, but it's just been beautiful anyway. I'd love to catch a few bream in October. Was that 5 bream, 1 gurnard? I think it was, something like that. Can't complain with that. Right, hope you enjoyed it. Like I just said, hit the like and subscribe button. I always appreciate that, and I shall catch you guys on the next one. Thank you.